feeling. It depends on our attitude, depends on our work ethic, depends on our determination. Ultimately, it's going to depend on our execution. So if we put the preparation first and the process is right, the results will come.
All right, Super Bowl champ Ryan Clark back here with us. Max, I want to start with you on this one.
Sure thing.
What's the bigger story right now? Is it Brady's success and how incredible he's been taking the league by storm, or Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time, struggling without him?
Clearly, it's Bill Belichick, and Brady has looked very good. But everyone anticipated double-digit wins for this team. I was the one saying, I don't know if it's 9 or 10. Everyone else is telling me at least 10. In fact, they should be favored in the division before they added Antonio freaking Brown. Are you kidding me? And Brady has looked good. But by the way, they have 2 losses on the season. I could replace Brady with not just a few, but a lot of quarterbacks who'd have 2 losses on this Bucs team and the rest wins. Let's be honest. Like Nick Foles is struggling in Chicago behind a porous offensive line. If you put him on these Bucs, would he be as good as Brady? No. But he beat Brady this year with that poor offensive line, right? Like, he'd be doing just fine. A lot of middling quarterbacks would be just fine. Recall, Ryan Fitzpatrick put up a couple of years ago like 40 points a game for a little while before they had this defense. And once again, before adding Antonio Brown, who is sure to make a difference as long as he's on the field. No, Brady is doing, I think, better than I anticipated, but what a lot of people anticipated he'd do. Did we think the Patriots would fall apart? Fall apart? And I brought up the fact that in Cam, when he said this is a must-win game, you can't fumble the ball with a chance to win, right? Like, that is on Cam.
Yep.
Goal line stand they made in Seattle against the Patriots, 2 plays, and the Patriots are 4-3 with real quality wins. But that's not the case right now. And it is the fact that Cam didn't come through when Patriots fans are used to seeing Brady come through. So that is all true, and it makes Brady look good. But we all acknowledge Brady put himself in a great position. What about Bill Belichick? What happened to the magic, right? Like, Bill Belichick always figured out a way to make it work. Not this year. Not so far. Right? And then you look at, especially because of what Mike Tomlin did last year when he didn't have a quarterback. He went 8-8. Mike Tomlin went 8-8 without a quarterback, without a second-string quarterback, sometimes not a third-string quarterback. He went 8-8. And what's Mike Tomlin now that he's got his quarterback back? Undefeated. That really shines a light on Belichick. Now, you might say, they traded for Minka Fitzpatrick during the season, and he made a big difference. Okay, that's true. Belichick is also the GM. He's not just the coach, he's also the GM. So people like Stephen A. will point out, Bill Barnwell will point out, look, they could have had Metcalf, instead they have N'Keal Harry. That's pretty bad. You could have had Nick Chubb, instead of you have Sony Michel. That's bad. Neither one was available, by the way. But that's really Belichick because he wears both hats, GM and coach. And the biggest story is the great Bill Belichick, maybe the greatest coach in the history of American team sports, is having a losing season the first time Tom Brady is off the team. It's the bigger story.
It's not the biggest story, but I understand that you're doing a marvelous, marvelous impression of Fred Astaire, Michael Jackson, MC Hammer, whoever the hell you want to be. You're being incredibly. What I'm saying is, Ryan, is that
I
this
look
is
good. I understand.
Sure, no problem. I'll leave the Molly to comment on your looks. I don't flow like that. But the point is this: here's the reality.
Very handsome, Max.
Max Kellerman is taking that position because Max Kellerman is the one that was highlighting Tom Brady being a finished product or just a just a guy. And suddenly we've learned that is not the case. All right. Tom Brady clearly is his success. And I'll tell you why. It's almost by default. Even though he's thrown for 369 yards in 2 games this year, even though he's playing lights out, even though he's only got 4 interceptions at this point in the season for the Buccaneers compared to Jameis Winston's 14 interceptions after 7 games last year. Here's the reality of the situation. The reason why it's so more about Brady's success than Belichick's struggles is because if we have a heart and we have any modicum of decency, we have to look at what Bill Belichick is dealing with here. You had your facilities closed on several occasions. Before the season even began, about 8 or 9 different defensive players wouldn't even show up to work this season because of COVID-19. Your star quarterback comes down with the Rona. Stephon Gilmore, arguably the best cornerback in football, came down with something, and then now he's out with an injury as well. So when you look at all of those things that are going on, you're really looking at Bill Belichick and being like, damn, this is a damn shame. That's how you look at Bill Belichick, because it's like, yo, what is he supposed to do? I don't care how great you are. And we know how I feel about Mike Tomlin. And there are other good coaches in the league as well. If you have to shut down your practice facility on numerous occasions, lose your starting quarterback, your elite cornerback, and 9 different players don't even show up to work because of COVID-19, it's like, damn, it's almost not even fair to judge them at all when it comes to, their overall record as a head coach. I can look at Cam as an individual player that's been playing well enough to win a game and say he didn't close on that particular moment. What I can't do is look at a coach who is an overseer and has a multitude of responsibilities on his shoulders, and all of this stuff that's non-football related prevents him from even practicing, for crying out loud. The kind of stuff that New England has gone through this year is why I say Brady's success is more of a story, because the struggles of Belichick may not necessarily be because of Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom Brady and Tampa didn't have those problems.
I don't even know what show I'm on. Like, I knew I was coming on here to see Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, Molly Q, but maybe I wasn't, because all I hear is excuses. Now, usually when you come on this show, Stephen A., is criticize. I don't know who you are to...
Actually, I'm very nice most of the time, if I should say so myself.
With Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, here's what we thought. We thought he'd be good. The fact that maybe he's been a little bit above what people thought, that may be a little bit of a story, but we expected this team to win. People picked this team to have Super Bowl opportunities. Some people picked this team to win the NFC South. So we knew that this team would be good. So seeing them at 5-2, seeing Tom Brady with an 18-4 touchdown to interception ratio is not really surprising to us, because we knew they had weapons and we knew he protected the ball. That makes sense to me. To see the New England Patriots where they are doesn't make sense to me, and it's out of respect. It's out of me having such a positive appreciation for what this team has been, for what Bill Belichick has been for the last 2 decades. To be 2-5, that's an organizational failure. And when you think about the organization of the New England Patriots, it is Bill Belichick, because he does go out and he gets the groceries. He does get to cook with the things that he brought into the kitchen. And so now when you see this team where it is, this is a product of Bill Belichick, right? Max is absolutely right. He drafted offensive weapons that he has now. He is right.
He's not right.
These offensive weapons. He's supposed to be the defensive guru.
Stephen A., this is Ryan's opinion.
Like we've always said.
Ryan's opinion is that Max is right, and it's his turn to talk. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, he don't like it. He don't like it, Max. And so, Stephen A., as we have given Bill Belichick over the years so much credit for why this team could overcome injuries, to why this team could bring in free agents who were problems in other places and have them flourish, to why this team could go 11-5 without Tom Brady in the 1 year that he missed after an injury to Kansas City, we got to give him this too. We got to be able to say, you know what, he hasn't coached well. We have to be able to say, you know what, they don't win the other 2 phases of football when Cam Newton and the offense aren't playing well, to give them opportunities to win games. And so when you look at that in the totality of this season, Bill Belichick has failed. And it's okay to say he failed this year. It's okay to say, you know what, this year he didn't field the team, or this year he isn't coaching the team, or this year he isn't motivating the team, or this year he isn't changing the team schematically enough to win the football games they need to win. Or this year, even in the games that they are in and that they are close, his teams aren't winning in situational football. Because that's the thing. And because that is true, Bill Belichick is the bigger story.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Max can have his opinion. I can disagree with it. But being a former football player and a Super Bowl champion who has revered Bill Belichick for as long as you have, suddenly the man forgot what he's doing? You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm saying he's not doing it. Stephen A., here's my issue with you.
He failed.
You love Mike Tomlin. You love Mike Tomlin, right?
Yes, I
that
do.
team went 8-8. Losing Le'Veon Bell, losing Antonio Brown. They're playing in different places.
Well,
or at
hear
least
my
attempting
point.
to play different
Hear
places.
my point.
And with a backup quarterback, and they go 8-8.
That's not the point. That's not
And
the
now you
point.
make all these
That's
excuses
not
about
the
Bill
point.
Belichick?
That's not the point. The point that I'm making is it's not about the personnel that you have, because then it would be no excuse. What I'm saying is when you can point to dudes not showing up to work, and you can point to other dudes catching COVID-19, and you can point to practices being canceled, for crying out loud. Wait a minute. Tennessee blew Buffalo out. But ultimately, the residual effects of all of that, you go up against Pittsburgh, you go up against Cincinnati, you have people wondering, what kind of residual impact will it have on the Tennessee Titans that these things had to happen? What I'm saying is this: if I'm looking at Bill Belichick's resume, spanning 2 decades, the one thing that could curtail everything, that could throw everything up for grabs, is if you can't even practice. You can't even